MAC-10 emptied his 30-round clip and reloaded. Morgan Perkins, an 18-year-old stock boy eating lunch in the back room, heard the commotion and came out front. He saw a man in a white shirt and dark pants shooting up the store. Perkins fell to the floor behind the counter, crawled to the front door, bolted into the parking lot, and scrambled under a parked car. Next door, in Cazzoli's, people heard the noise, and somebody yelled, "Skylab is falling!" Everybody laughed. A woman and her son finished their lunch, walked out, and saw glass all over the sidewalk. They heard the gunfire. The boy ran ahead into the parking lot and spotted Capozzi, the wounded clerk. "Somebody's hit in the parking lot," the boy yelled. The woman ran back to Cazzoli's, but by then the owners had locked the door. "They're shooting! Call the police!" she yelled. The woman ran to Mr. John's on the other side of the liquor store. The beauty salon customers had heard the slugs hitting the liquor store walls and thought it was just teenagers making noise. Then it dawned. "Call the police," the salon manager yelled to his receptionist. "Dial 911. After firing more than 60 times, the killers stopped. They dropped the MAC-10 inside the liquor store, ran outside, and jumped into the cab of the white truck. Another man in the cab spied Perkins hiding under a car and fired a .30 caliber carbine at him. Perkins took bullets in both feet. "Why are they shooting at me?" he screamed. "I didn't do anything." To cover their getaway, the men in the cab indiscriminately blasted the mall parking lot with their weapons. They got so excited they shot out their own rearview mirror. The bullets tore holes into parked cars and shattered plate glass store windows. One shot ruptured a car's fuel tank, spilling gasoline into the parking lot. Another bullet whizzed by the ear of a pedestrian. The white truck finally disappeared around the Jordan Marsh store at the south end of the mall. The shooting was over in less than 3 minutes. The call came on a crackle of static into the Dade County Public Safety Department's homicide squad room. A machine gunning involving Latin males at the Dadeland Mall. It was 2:35 p.m., July 11th, 1979. "Oh, shit, here we go again," thought Detective Al Singleton. Latins with machine guns meant Colombians and homicides. "Here's another number 2 for the shelf," he thought. A number 2 was an unsolved homicide. There was a cocaine war going on, and Colombians had been turning up dead in Miami and surrounding Dade County for months. The department had put together an 18-man squad to work on 24 Latin drug homicides dating back to November. The cases rarely got solved. The squad was called the Special Homicide Investigation Team, the Shit Squad. Singleton was a regular homicide detective, not part of the Shit Squad. His own squad was not in line to handle the shooting at Dadeland, but it looked like one of those cases where a lot of people were needed to assist. So Singleton got into his light blue, unmarked Plymouth Satellite and went west on the Dolphin Expressway. Singleton's route bisected the populated part of the county. As he drove, he left behind Miami's budding skyline and headed to the flatter suburbs of southwest Dade. At 30, Singleton was a jug-eared, rail-thin ex-Marine who was just getting confident in his job after little more than a year in homicide. He wore a blue 3-piece suit, summer weight, to deal with Miami in July. Nobody in law enforcement had any clear idea why there was a cocaine war going on, least of all Singleton. The operative theory involved a rivalry between the Colombian cocaine factions. Others thought some of the killings were between the Colombians and the Cubans they were easing out. For years, the balance of power between the Cuban middlemen and their Colombian suppliers had kept things on an even keel. Colombians bought the coca leaf in Bolivia and Peru, processed it into powder in their own country, and shipped it north. Then the Colombians decided to cut out the middlemen, and in 1976 started to take over the cocaine distribution in Miami. Long-time Colombian traffickers came south in force from their traditional stronghold in Jackson Heights in Queens. Illegal aliens, an estimated 20,000 of them, poured in from Colombia. Within 3 years, 4 or 5 Colombian groups controlled nearly all of the Miami trade. The business was getting out of hand by the late 1970s. The country's tastes were changing from marijuana to cocaine.